Want a curved screen, high refresh rate gaming, and don't want to compromise? Well, the ASRock Phantom Gaming 27-inch 240Hz curved monitor is here to deliver. In the box, we've got our power cable, HDMI and DisplayPort cables, and a rugged stand. And finally, the ASRock Phantom Gaming monitor with an impressive 27-inch curved 1500R VA display. This makes for quite the immersive experience, especially in competitive games like Valorant, which demand higher refresh rates. Diving into the specs, this monitor goes up to 1080p, sports a blazing fast 240Hz refresh rate for silky smooth gameplay, and HDR10 support for vibrant lifelike colors. It covers 90% of the DCI-P3 and 113% of the sRGB color spaces, making those visuals pop at a max brightness of 300 nits. This is great for picking out enemies in low visibility situations. It's got a rapid 1 millisecond response time with MPRT mode to keep motion blur in check for perfect aim, and dual 2-watt speakers built right in just in case you don't have your headphones on you. For connectivity, this monitor is equipped with two HDMI 2.0 ports, one DisplayPort 1.2, and a headphone jack. The stand is solid with swivel and tilt adjustments, but there is no height adjustment. However, it does support VESA mounting if you want to customize your setup. The monitor also sports ASRock's low blue light technology, so those long rank up sessions are a little easier on your eyes. Additionally, FreeSync Premium is also present on this monitor, preventing screen tearing at unstable frame rates. Overall, this monitor does exactly what it says on the box. Super fast, high refresh rate gaming for titles like Valorant to give you the competitive edge you need. Today we've got something special for AMD users. The ASRock B650 Live Mixer motherboard. Packed with features and support for AM5 processors, this motherboard is a statement both visually and specs-wise. As an AM5 board, the ASRock B650 Live Mixer supports both AMD Ryzen 8000 and 7000 series processors and will continue to support all AMD CPUs until 2026. Whether you're upgrading or building a new rig, this motherboard has you covered. Power delivery is robust with a 14+2+1 phase power design, ensuring stable and efficient power distribution. For memory, it sports 4 DDR5 DIMM slots with support for 6400+ MHz speeds when overclocked. Expandability is key in any build, and the B650 Live Mixer shines with 3 PCIe 4.0x16 slots and an M.2 key E slot for Wi-Fi modules. Rear I/O is great with an HDMI and DisplayPort connector, 14 USB ports, out of which you get one 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port and a 3.2 Gen 2x2 Type C port. Those with blazing fast internet will be happy to see a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port at the back. For audiophiles, it features 7.1 channel HD audio with the Realtek ALC897 audio codec and Nahimic audio enhancement. Whether gaming or watching movies, you can expect immersive audio quality. Storage solutions are top-notch with one blazing fast PCIe Gen 5x4 M.2 slot and two PCIe Gen 4x4 M.2 slots. Additionally, it also has two SATA 3 connectors for additional hard drives or SSDs. All in all, the ASRock B650 Live Mixer motherboard is loaded with features that make it a formidable foundation for any high-end PC. Whether you're a gamer, a content creator, or just looking for a powerful system, this motherboard checks all the boxes.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 2, Series 2 for the AMD presents Flipkart Back to College Cup Season 1, powered by ASRock, Acer, WB Black, and Fortronics. It's going to be your boy Aggressive now, back here on the desk with Baba Gusta on my side. It's been a while, Baba. It has been forever. I have to reiterate that I haven't gone to the cast with you. And I'm back on the hot seat with you for Valorant, for a series, for the AMD Flipkart BTC Cup. So I'm more than happy to bring you all this action, but at the same time, are the teams really hyped and ready to bring us their action too for Series 2? Series number 1 was pretty heated, but Series 2, I have a feeling, could just go the entire distance for all three maps. Sovereign Esports going up against Airavata Esports. Now, both of these teams, in my opinion, are very evenly matched, considering I know what both teams are capable of. So even if they're rookie rosters, they have a lot of firepower in their arsenal.
Yep, we also did witness match number 1 happening, between Team Resonance and versus Team Ace. We had unfortunate circumstances, mainly because there was a huge storm that was happening in Mumbai, and one of the players had to disconnect, unfortunately, because of that, forcing on a 4v5 situation. Resonance secures the matchup on a 2-0 scoreline, and now we are back with match number 2 between Team Sovereign and versus Team Airavata. And once again, I'm gonna say both these teams are evenly matched. It's gonna be an amazing match to look at. The difference has to be what kind of maps are they going to pick. You know, it's always that question that puts into our minds and see whether it's going to be a really good match or would it be like neck to neck. But for now, folks, let's just talk about the prize pool, shall we? I mean, looking at the prize pool itself, especially on a tournament like this, 1 lakh rupees for the champions on the BTC Cup. Second place, 60,000 INR, and also last but not
It's even
least,
bigger
third
now.
place will receive a total of 40,000 INR.
Yeah, it's even bigger now. Think about it. Their
Yeah,
place
yeah,
is
it's
already
even
there.
bigger,
First
yeah.
place getting. Yeah, like, think about it. Yesterday it was a lot more smaller. Now it's even bigger. So the teams have to fight for something even more now. The lion's share of the prize pool is 1 lakh. 1 goddamn lakh.
You can buy a new
And even
PC
if you
from that.
split. Yeah, no. You can't buy a new PC from it. That's going to be split between the 5 players, right? For a rookie level tournament, that is a good chunk of cash that you can put in your pocket.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe
Yeah,
even get
absolutely.
yourself a couple of good products from the links down below in the description. Don't forget,
Mhm.
the sales on Flipkart is already live, and our lovely sponsors are giving you incredible deals on products that you won't really get anywhere else. Links down below in the description, ladies and gentlemen. Check it all out. But for now, you're going to be checking out the teams as well soon enough to see exactly which players are going to be on that roster. First of all, it's going to be Sovereign Esports going up against Airavata. As I've already stated that Airavata Esports should be the ones to win this, but Sovereign, one of those teams that I personally haven't seen a lot of VODs out of. They are a rookie level team that has been making names, but the roster is not as stable as Airavata.
I mean, no matter what the prediction would be coming in from both our casters, you always need to know that once you enter into the battlefield, anything can happen. I mean, Sovereign can give a huge upset between Team Airavata. As we take a look at the rosters as well, we have Krishna, Mighty, Say, Triggered, and Whitebeard. But yeah, like I said, once you enter into the battlefield, you never really know who's going to win the match unless and until we get to see how the team's performance are.
That's for certain. But at the same time, Sovereign's roster not having the same level of stability could be a problem. The team synergy may not be at the same level when you think about it at the end of the day, but I think that's going to be completely okay because talented individuals that we have seen from Sovereign have played well on other smaller rosters when they were still trying to make their name, but up against Airavata's team, I don't really know how it's going to work as we jump onto their showcase because this roster just has everything on paper. They have incredibly talented players. They know how to play with each other and against each other. Plus, you have players like Buster, No Mercy, and Raja, all in the same place. Like, a Buster and No Mercy alone should put a lot of fear on any player. Because Buster has the experience, he has the aim, he has mechanical skill, and even though he has been getting older, strong mechanical skill and his talent is just getting better over time. And then you have a young gun as Mercy. This guy single-handedly took over games when we had the TC Cup back originally. He alone took over an entire match and won it up against which team was it again? I think you were there, Baba, during the time.
I believe. I mean, it's been a long time since
It's been a long time. It's like
it's been a
almost
long time.
6
It's
months.
almost a
Yeah,
year.
yeah, it's
For me,
almost 6 months.
it feels like a
straight.
decade. I'm not even a decade is like 10 years. For me, it kind of feels like it. But yeah, when it comes to performance between Buster and No Mercy, man, they have a lot of history. Not only just the TC series, but also on the other tournaments as well, who've been given a lot of a huge fight up against the other teams. So like you said, Team Airavata Esports, they have a heavy hitters from their end, and for the side of the opposition team, it's going to be a tough one for them to deal with. Sovereign Esports, but hopefully, once we start off the match, we'll get to see how well the match is going to go. Let's not forget that this is double eliminations format, which means that if one of the team gets, if one of the team loses, they still have a one final chance, and the loser of that matchup will go up against Team Ace. I believe the loser of the first matchup up against team. Yeah, I believe it is. I believe it's Team Resonance. Yes, Team Resonance is the team. So yeah, let's take a look at the veto itself, aggressive. Let's see what kind of maps do we get to see from these two teams.
The battleground is just as important as the players, if not even more, at the end of the day. Bans look to be quite standard coming in from either side, but Greece slipping away from the ban screen. I don't really like where this is gonna go. Sovereign, what kind of shenanigans are you trying to cook here? To pick Greece as a team, you need to have a completely different set playing this.
Yeah, you have Lotus being picked on map 1. We have Breeze on map 2. Definitely quite the opposite what I've expected, you know? Because most of the times we'd always see the usual matchups like, Ascent being picked most of the time, but turns out Ascent has already been banned by Sovereign. They're like, you know what? We're not gonna focus on the most played maps. We'll play the most least maps and just, have a 50-50 chance, you know? It's quite possibly like Sovereign and Airavata Esports. They want to play in a different battlefield in a way where there are some new strategies that could involve. There might be some aggressive plays, or we might expect to see a lot of changes in their agent composition. So anything can happen at this point. It's basically a roll of dice.
Speaking of agent compositions, let's go into the agent selection screen, ladies and gentlemen. With Lotus being one of those maps that can allow you to be a lot more creative with your team compositions. You can run a double initiator, double controller is still pretty decent, even if the Viper is really nerfed out. The main problem that I would say Viper currently has is she is good as a solo controller, but she is not really as good as a Sentinel anymore. She's been shifted away from being strong as a Sentinel and a controller to now being only good as a controller. This is where the real problems will start to show as teams are trying to adapt still to this no Viper meta, especially in the European scenes where Viper was a little bit more prominent, and also in America. Those two regions are having issues, but in India, Viper was not as well received as all of the other regions in some cases. Even tier 1 teams in our country has not really started picking up on that Viper as often. Wanted to go in a little bit more for those comfort pickups on those double initiators instead. So even if they are rookie level teams, they're on that same boat. They want to play for that comfort. They want to play as a squad that will allow them to utilize their biggest strengths, their raw mechanical skill. And as you can see that Airavata, they have a lot of incredible players on purely their mechanical basis. Buster, insane in what he does. Generic as well. Generic on crack. I completely forgot about this man for a second, but as soon as he picked up on that chamber, I knew what he could do. There's a reason why he is outed to be one of the best chambers that you could hope for on your team when you consider the rookie leagues. Because he has proven himself time and time again up against even tier 1 players that he can perform, he can do well. Each player on that roster, they have their own gameplay loop that will really surprise you when you see it for the very first time. And with that, on the other side of the spectrum, there is Sovereign. They're going in for a lot more of a generic composition with the double initiator, being the Sky, being the Breach. I like the idea that they're going in for, but after all the recent changes to Sky, I don't know why you would even try to pick up the Sky compared to a Fade, which arguably now in this current meta is a lot more stronger.
Yeah. I mean, ever since the Sky has been nerfed in a way that you can't. I mean, there's not a cooldown for guiding light, right? You can't keep spamming or just initially use your guiding light for information. You have to use your guiding light only for flashes, because every single utility that you play from Sky, it has to have an important value, and because of it, you get to see a lot of players opting for a different choice. Just like you said, Viper has been nerfed, so is Sky, and because of that, you do get to see a lot of changes in the agent picks. Sometimes you see Clove being picked out. Sometimes you see double initiators. Sometimes you see double controllers. We get to see a lot of agents with the same role composition, right? Sometimes just in the previous matchup, we saw up against Team Ace, where they were playing on map Ascent, we saw double duelist combos, which are very powerful in their aggressive attempts on entering towards the side. But you also need to understand that no matter how much power you give once you execute on site, that power will immediately be nullified once you head in towards post plant. So you've got to figure out a way to balance both the attack as well as on post plant on the side of the attackers as well as on defense. The main goal for them is to either get good value out of it while being picked out in the process, or ensure that in the post plant you have necessary utilities to ensure you have a fighting chance to secure it. It's all about timing, it's all about utility management, and I'm pretty sure for Team Sovereign they don't have to worry about it. Most of the time, yes, they will be going up against some experienced players on the side of Team Airavata Esports, but nonetheless, you, no matter how good you are in the game, you still need to focus on the number of patch notes, the number of changes that happens in a game of Valorant. So once again, early in the game, we did get to see a huge number of Jet plays being made. Right, first it was Jet. Now Jet has been nerfed out. Second was Chamber. Chamber was like the next gen of Jet mains. Chamber got nerfed out, and third, it was fully filled with Viper mains, in which they were really good at both controlling as well as being as a good sentinel. And last, as I can remember, you still have Cypher, right? Cypher's buff is still powerful, especially with
It's kind of nerf,
traps.
but it's dealable.
It's kind of nerf, but it's still viable, right? So looking at the way how the balance is going at the game of at the game of Valorant, you could say that there is a lot of untapped potential of other agent compositions that we haven't experienced yet. So who knows? Maybe they might accidentally find out once they started playing out in the tournament. Who knows? Anything can happen.
Yeah, what I'm really interested to see coming out from a lot of teams is utilization of that clove. Now that duelists are not really that powerful, think about it. Who's the strongest duelist in this entire game? It's Raze, right?
Raze.
But I wouldn't say
Raze.
that Raze is overpowered. She is honestly not overpowered, and I'm hoping that Riot does not nerf her. Not because I'm a Raze main, but because this character just does not need nerfs. She's good because everything else is bad. And when you're in a situation like this, you really need to be careful, just like Generic is. The man's double dipping and triple dipping almost. Somehow still stays alive, but there's a good chunk of his headhunter bullets because of it. Does gain some information that two players are on the A sideline. And just as I was saying, every other duelist just needs a little bit of a tune-up and a buff. Raze, just leave her alone. That poor girl had enough.
Yeah, satchel charge is being made from Clandestine already in the site. Trying to make sure to get control as best as possible. I believe they're ready to hold out their site on C. Not a single player has been down just yet. So let's see what the response is from Sovereign.
A very slow take, but I like the post-line positioning. They are going to be playing a little bit more closer in towards the side. Buster, good for the first kill, but an enemy straight out from either side. A good nade to try and hold down the line. Nassim trying to maybe be a little bit of a danger for the opposition, but it's just not going to be enough. He was stuck inside of the corner with only just a classic, so he does not have the first potential that he would have had if he had a ghost in his arsenal. Sovereign taking a very good first run purely on the basis of a retake. It was done beautifully.
Yeah, a good retake from Sovereign. The follow-up from the paint bomb and the satchel charges, giving him more opportunities to secure that place is a very crucial one for Sovereign to secure it. Not a single player was downed out, especially this all happened in post plant itself. So once, Airavata Esports made in towards the side, you have to know that they've spent a chunk of utilities, smokes and everything to ensure that they can secure a kill or two. Generic is won't be able to secure a kill or two from it, but the aggressiveness still continues though from Clandestine. Already in, once again, post plant. They're securing plants. Gotta be careful on the weaponries though. Fault line being used, that will concuss one of the players. Information will be given. Here comes the rest of the players from Sovereign having good weapon advantage. They just need to secure a kill, in which they do. And once again, Sovereign, they won't be having any problems dealing with the rest of the players on the side of Team Airavata.
I would say pretty decent. They got the spike gun down at the bare minimum. They were able to take down at least one gun. It would have been a better situation overall, but tickling the players as well works out, forcing them to spend an extra 1,000 credits to get that armor back up to full. So it's pretty decent. Could have been better. Sovereign, now with 2 rounds under their belt, can play for a full-on bonus here. But the question is, playing for a full bonus on the map of Lotus has its dangers as well. How do they want to go in for this execution?
That's a good spot.
There's not really a lot of utility that Sovereign has to try and stop them from making this entry, other than just one paint shell. And if Mighty uses it early, without any form of information, might not look that good. Generic's been a constant threat here towards this A side. And now that they're utilizing that threat to go in for a little bit more of an aggressive push, I love the way that they're doing this. Because Generic has now conditioned them that, hey, I'm always going to be the one to fight outside of A main. That basically allows this team to fully scale up. And the defenders, they're going to be none the wiser for this full-scale attack.
The presence will be known once they start using the revolving doors. A site will be pushed out as soon as possible, and Almighty unfortunately won't be able to secure this gunfight. A lot of minutes left for Airavata Esports. They will finally secure the site once again. But will history repeats itself as Sovereign have secured 2 back-to-back post plant? Will it be the same situation here again?
Ooh, what a scene. He tried to go in for a little bit of a dodge, but he's not going to be able to find anything. Buster, though, already present for the backup, and No Mercy just comes in from the side, instantly dropping down another player. 2-1. As Airavata, they have gotten themselves back on the board, and they only lost 1 gun in the process, purely on the basis of Caldestine probably having a little bit of a lower sense than you would have expected for a flash dodge. That's do occur. You know, Generic is once again going for a full-on swing, but I don't really know how much I like this, because the way that Generic has been doing this, he wants to condition them into understanding that, hey, the chamber is always going to be here, so there's a constant threat that someone might lurk up on this A side, but one of these days, he might just be punished for it heavily. One tap, and Generic is going to be biting the dust.
Once again, the presence known from Generic. And it's an interesting way how Airavata Esports are making their way right now. You know, split push first, try to gain some info, see how many players are present from the site, see, you know, what kind of agents that they've picked, if it's a controller, if it's a duelist, if it's an initiator, try to add some counters right into it, like the smokes and the usual, you know, flashes we see. Pings will be made. I believe the Raze will be prepped and ready for his satchel charges. All he needs to do is to find its mark. Slowly arriving towards the side, boom bot give them information, and so is the ult. Information is in, Clandestine almost trying to get those 2 kills, but look at how Sorwin are backing out. They're respecting the aggressive place that they're going on to, but Clandestine still gets it. 40 seconds post plant once again. Airavata Esports. Power of the elephant is very strong, and for Sovereign Esports, it is very difficult.
Thrash isn't done with you.
Strengths here is just brutal. But another issue that they have to face is Whitebeard. He went in for the flash, but the flash does not work out in his favor. Suns are perfect. Buster goes in for the full-on threat. Now 2 players over on the top side. They need to clear everything out here. Yuta over towards the top, but Buster, No Mercy. They have the angle that is required to hold everything down for this 2-2, and that was a little bit too dicey and too close for comfort for the members of Airavata. They need to be a lot more careful in the way they play their first match. Buster and No Mercy were able to bail them out, but confirming those kills towards the side of stairs is the most crucial part of the focus.
Yeah, the double peek towards smoke definitely did caught Airavata off guard, but eventually they did recover it. Like it was very quick. The adaptation from Airavata Esports, it was so quick. Sovereign Esports, once again, good attempt though. Once they realized they're in towards the side, they quickly gave away the site. They know that they wasted ample amount of time. They only had 40 seconds left, and they really did a great job at holding out. But it's usually the post run. Once they get control of it, it's really tough. Trigger playing very close. Prowler not going to effect. Trigger gets the kill. The concussion works perfect for Sovereign. but are still facing major deadly problems. Let's not forget that this is a
Oh, that's
thrifty
such a
round,
good
so the shot
paranoia.
is dealing major damage. Still alive, Clandestine once again in a 3v3 situation.
That was such a beautiful paranoia coming in towards B, but no one is able to capitalize on top of it. We expected Clandestine to go in for a full-scale rush and maybe do something about it, but now the defense is at a very significant advantage, especially with the Seekers now finding out exactly where Clandestine is. The element of surprise not really being in his arsenal. Two players already pushed out. They need to break it through. The armor received him. Clandestine still is going to be able to live. And with the swing out, they're able to survive. 3K for Clandestine. But they utilize the showstopper because of it. They get the clutch, but at a very significant cost. And for Sovereign, they're more than happy. Think about it, Baba. They had no investments into that round, and they got the showstopper out, which is pretty much a key execution tool for a lot of strategies that Airavata might have to go in for site-heavy rushes. And without that option,
Absolutely.
they have to utilize the Nightfall without a solid source of entry.
No showstopper. They can only rely on flashes though, from either from from Gek or from the Paranoia. But other than that, Nightfall is still a powerful weapon. Sovereign Esports, on the other hand, once again, they usually don't engage or try to challenge these gunfights. Not only just that, they don't go in for aggressive peaks, especially in the early rounds. They're just respecting the boundaries. They don't want to contest in those important choke points. Just playing it safe. But the problem is, if you play it way too much safe, it gives you more, it gives a lot of time for Airavata Esports to think exactly what's happening and give them the higher chances to not only secure the side but also the win.
They're getting noise on each and every portion of the map now. Not really making a single drop of sound. It's a big gamble coming in from the members of Airavata. As they're banking on rotations coming in from Sovereign. They need to make that educated guess, but it's not working out as well as they would have hoped for. Say's gonna be the one to take down the
30
first.
seconds left.
Ray's no longer being in question anymore. Raja needs to be the first to take primary entry as the teleport to get himself into a better position. They do have an empty seaside to play around with, but they need to extend. If they don't make the extension quickly, they could just get swarmed by the utility that Sovereign have in their hands.
A lot of utilities for Sovereign Esports to try to handle things out. Yuta definitely saw Raja's position, but chose not to engage in it. Mighty, on the other hand, deep within the side, all of them are in the side as a huge trade-ups comes in. And it's all up to Raja left in a 1v2. Not gonna happen. Trigger will make sure to secure it and give the win for Sovereign, securing a 3-3 equalizer. It's really interesting how Sovereign Esports are playing at this point, Aggie. I mean, like, for the entire round, you don't see any aggressive peaks. You don't see any, unexpected flash peaks. It's just Sovereign are just welcoming Airavata Esports to their side and just be like, yeah, please come in, enjoy your time. And then once the time is right, they'll just ambush it at the right time with a certain good amount of utilities and rely heavily into its trade outs.
Plus, their retakes have been looking very good too. But I think that's purely on the basis of Airavata not really extending a lot of their sites. I don't understand why Airavata are just refusing to go in for site extensions. Unless they make the defenders uncomfortable or force them to utilize utility a little bit earlier on into their retake, I don't think any of their strategies are going to work out proper. Generic though, let's get a very strong forward position over towards the revolving doors.
Oh yeah!
Should
Monster
allow
on
him
the
to
loose.
get a free kill if he just find the perfect timing. Crash being utilized, Say's gonna be able to catch out Raja once again. Mighty, his position's already known, but Generic! He whiffed the shot. He expected the kill with a headshot, but the Phantom just completely betrays him there. Well, this team stuck on a very awkward angle. He's not gonna be able to live through this one for long. Good for one kill. Maybe he's gonna be able to find the second. No, Trigger's gonna be the one to shut him down instead. Flashes from the front, and Yuta's gonna be the one to shut him down. No Mercy has nothing that he can give in towards this round. And Sovereign, their retakes are just so phenomenal. However, they need to start taking the fight to the defenders, because if they're trying to play the post climb, none of this is going to work out for them.
I can hold an area pretty well
Yeah.
myself.
And,
Make sure to
and
cover
fun
angles
fact,
I can't.
a fun fact, Aggie, this is a map being picked by Airavata Esports. So, securing 4 post plant back to back is definitely not a good way for Airavata Esports, to lose out on a situation like this. And let's not forget, Say has been picking off. Say has been getting early picks every single round, right? Especially in towards the B side. Every single time,
want to
an
play?
important
Let's
pick,
play.
and once they enter into a side, it's just gone. And right now, we just see an interesting approach from Sovereign Esports, applying a lot of pressure towards A long, only to realize that Airavata Esports had information on these players, and now they're quickly barging in towards the C side. And this time, Aggie, I think they're gonna extend it right now. They're gonna extend it.
Yeah, they need to extend it. There's a Killjoy lockdown on the opposite side, but I think they haven't really extended as far as they should have. It'll be very dangerous. As soon as Yuta does place down the Killjoy lockdown, they need to go in for a proper extension. A good C's coming in from the attack, but Mighty! Oh my god, what were those flicks? Mighty comes in clutch for the triple kill, but Buster just answers back with his own. 4-4. Airavata. What just happened there, Mighty? Maybe an instant replay of that one if you do have it there, production. This Mighty just casually did the double tap over on the 2.
He is the almighty of Sovereign. My god, what is that? Like, one was through the smoke, and the second, the flick is just... Man, you'd love to see a flick like that. Information quickly given from the guiding light. Generic once again, he was doing a great job to try to counter Mighty, but unfortunately the execution didn't quite work out well as it expected it to be. Lots and lots of utilities being tossed around, and Trigger just pushes in and says hello.
Oh yeah! Monster on the
Oh no. Airavata just gets the early pick, and now they're slowly making their way as Thrash is giving ample amount of information, and Generic is just making sure to watch their backs. And you gotta forget about the other side too. Oh boy.
Spike planted.
Yeah, the smoke faded in the worst possible time. He was expecting that play to happen a little bit later. Yuta. I'm in a good position up so. The angle, Mercy though is not gonna get anything back to say.
One enemy
Alasine over towards the bag, the flashes. I would say he tried to use the flash, but he's not gonna get any value, especially with the flash being in the hands of Buster. What I really love from this team is Buster's not afraid to use his trash, and he's been farming it up as often as he possibly can through the process. What I don't really like coming in from Airavata is that they're not really feeding any orbs into Caldestine. They need to make sure that Caldestine gets this Raze ultimate online as often as he possibly can. And the orbs, mind you, Baba, are very accessible to the attackers. Because these are power positions that you always want to take control of. You always want to have aiming control. You need to be a team that wants to play aggressively towards C. And if your opponents are playing aggressively towards C, that's an instant answer that, hey, I don't need to make this rush anymore. I can go towards the opposite side of the map, which is a little bit less contested. But
Yeah.
it seems as though Sovereign, they have a strong setup towards the C side, and Airavata, they have no idea what's waiting for them. Such a beautiful flash coming in from the Omen, but Generic, no! A big whiff that could have costed him everything. But Airavata are still able to capitalize. They get the trades and they get it done. And it seems as though I kind of overhyped Generic a little bit too much. The man's whiffing way too many shots, but at least his team is able to fill in those gaps that he's leaving.
The idea was on point, aggressive. I mean, the flashes was on point. The paranoia just blinding all 3 players. But yeah, Generic is just like very unfortunate when he gets to miss those opportunities. Yeah, we all have those bad days. But the most important part about it is that
30
you see
seconds left.
a quick change from Sovereign. You see from them waiting for the attackers to arrive to the site, to contesting in towards C long because they're just giving away a lot of orb, just like you said, Aggie. And now this is definitely going to bite them in the back because now they're going to go in for the plant, save once again. Beautiful shots with the Vandal.
Spike planted.
They will secure it. Post plant it is. It's a 3-3. Rolling Thunder is unlocked. Just need to see at what time they're going to use it.
I'm just confused though. Why even you'd pop something like that? Now the scene over for the big save. It's gonna be Buster who comes in to make sure his teammate does not die. Buster with a triple kill. Once again, the man, the myth, the legend, Buster. Even though he's been playing for this long, the man is never going to retire purely because he has the skill, has the experience to back it all up. 4-6 is Airavata. They're making their attack side work beautifully. And I love the utility usage too. They understand how much that they need to use to go in for trap setups. And the fact that they set up that trap so beautifully in 2 rounds ago, I'm scared to say what they could be bringing on down for their own defensive hand. Because that's where the trap setups become a lot.
Thrifty round, Utah, great opening pick, a second almost. The grenade will catch its mark, but he forgot about Buster.
Spike
Gets
down.
2 kills
Attackers
and a shutdown from Whitebeard. Generic will finally secure its first frag up against Triggered. But apparently the spikes all the way towards the other side. That's
No worries, Omen.
from the shadows. Not to worry about it. Post plant once again.
Spike planted.
Difference is Sovereign can still have a chance to bring it back. There's still a possibility here.
Possibilities are one thing, but look at the guns that the Breach has in his hand.
Trap
Don't
destroyed.
have anything to give in towards this trap. Trap now being broken. They have information that one person's already in towards the flank. Take your time for this one. Airavata. They're at the significant advantage here with time taken away. Whitebeard with only a Spectre in hand. This retake is already over. Even if they do get the kills, this is gonna take a lot of time.
One enemy remaining.
Even get a possible comeback on. So he's gonna be good for the 1 kill. They find all of the frags, but just as I say, the time is just already done.
Clutch.
Over. Couple of consolation prizes, and maybe Whitebeard's gonna be able to get a gun for himself. Yep.
Last
4-7.
round before the switch.
That's the attack. They have a 3-round advantage here over the defense. Pause now being taken by Triggered. Very smart pause indeed, because they need to utilize this pause to at least reset the momentum and get a possible 5-7 score. It's their do or die. They have good ultimates to make it happen. Result is
Careful
present.
there.
Plus, you have the
Careful there.
Seekers. You can utilize the Seekers later on in the
Careful
round,
there.
or you can use it early to try and set up your raise for a possible showstopper kill to get the advantage. You need to do either or. If the Seekers are utilized early,
Careful
you
there.
need to make sure that there's an aggressive push happening. If you want to
Careful
hold it
there.
later on and use it reactively, that's completely fine as well. Because Airavata
Careful
has
there.
a tendency of completely cutting off noise after they go in for a little bit of an early aggressive play towards the seaside. So you need that information. It all really comes down to how the Sky is going to play her utility. And on the basis of that utility, I want to see the Raze utilize her ultimate. Don't try to go and do something on a gut feeling, because on a 4-7 scoreline, you do not want to give an 8-4 half. To get that one small kill could just mean that your team's going to win the round. They could possibly lose.
That's a good start.
Not a lot of problems on their economy though. It was a valuable eco round from Sovereign Esports. They did remove out, all the rest of the players. So with this time out being taken, Mighty needs to be careful though. Peaks will be made to gain some information, and Generic is just trying to make sure that he could get a headshot or two from that exact location. Aggression will be made towards A. They're thinking that there would be a lot of contestations being made from C long. But once that drone's information is being given away, they will be prepped and ready for it. Nightfall is used, so is Thrash, and Clandestine is very deep. Just gonna wait for the right moment to remove the rest of the players, and he will succeed in doing so. Here goes Whitebeard. Still need to find the rest of the players. No Mercy gets another. There's 2 players down for the count. Airavata Esports looking very promising in this post plant. Utilities put to perfection. Ultimates being placed at the right time. And here comes the showstopper. Who will it get? It will be Clandestine. Mid-air collision. Buster gets one, and it's all up to the Omen Say, and that is the end of the first half, folks. 4-8 is Airavata Esports put themselves in the
Switching
lead.
sides.
I've got to say that mid-air collision was something else.
I think that Clandestine shot the blue box instead of the floor, while Mighty shot directly onto the floor, basically meaning that Clandestine was not going to die to full stopper. A good mid-round adjustment coming out from Clandestine there, but Airavata, yeah, like you were saying.
It's really funny. Like in order to counter the showstopper, you use the showstopper. You know, it's like there are so many abilities where you can counter a raise, but using a showstopper to counter a showstopper, it's always hilarious for me to look at it.
Both races share the same frame, so when they use abilities,
Oh boy.
generic. He's playing a dangerous game. He needs to get out, and he's gonna be able to do it. Chamber not finding early value here, but that's a lot of utility already being invested. Eye flash again coming out. Mighty taking a forward position. Is gonna be able to get into a good spot, but for the members of Airavata, they're playing for a full-scale retake here. Smoke, slide cap. Not gonna be able to find any form of value. Triggered. Where's the opposite side of the smoke? He wants to maybe go in for a push like this, but it's not gonna happen. Triggered. Good shots coming in with the backup from the sideline. He gets a double kill with Whitebeard getting another one. Buster tries to make a difference, but he's just a lonely gecko with a ghost in his hand. Beautiful rush coming in from the members of Sovereign. And what I don't understand is, Airavata, I understand that the chamber just dipped out of the side, but you would expect that, hey, I want to hold down the B side and I hold down the C side, sorry, and I don't want them to rush into me that quickly. You had the utility to do so, but they chose to completely go in for a retake that was kind of half baked.
Yeah. You know, for a moment there, I was looking at Raze's weapons, and for a moment I thought he was gonna go in for a Bucky satchel combo. Once again, you still gotta worry about generic. Flashes will be made from triggered. There you go. There's the flash. There's the fault line. Missed opportunity. Say gets it. That is 3 utilities being used on one single sentinel.
Oh. Poor Buster. He wanted to play a little bit of a mind game, and he just on the opposite side. Flashes early on. Poor old Raja doesn't, not even going to be able to see anything. Trying to survive this one. Mighty comes in clutch with his teammates to go in for the set plays. And I like this software. Their utility utilization is just pinpoint accurate when it comes down to overall executions.
There.
And that's giving them significant advantages in all of the
Flashes are good. I mean, flashes were on point both for, you know, on the side of generic and also for the Omen, who was playing really close with the shorty.
Careful there.
The only counter for a shotgun is always a flash, and being able to get a good value out of it is a plus point for Sovereign. Once again, Satchel charges. This time it's all the way towards B. Mighty is feeling it. As a Spectre in hand, it's a bonus round, so main goal for them is to see whether they can get a weapon upgrade. Generic gets one, Trigger gets the other. Mighty is already deep within the site. And it's going to be even much more tough for them to deal with it, because now it's a 2v4 situation in a bonus round. Raja gets it. Still needs to focus on the rest of them. The weapons are the only advantage they have. Only the Spectres. It's still a doable situation for Sovereign to get themselves back up. Now it's 1v1. A fake teleport. It's just going to be difficult though for Raja to secure it. Get it the shot? No, Raja actually gets it. My god.
Yeah, I don't think Yudo was expecting Raja to be that far out, especially with the smoke being placed. Bamboozles coming out from his hand. 6-9 on the scorecards, ladies and gentlemen. 3-round difference really putting both of these teams apart, but Sovereign are playing extremely well. This last round was purely lost because Sovereign made a couple of mistakes in their post-line positioning, but the overall execution, Baba, it's just spot on.
Hold on. I mean, the utilities from Sovereign is just looking good, and this was a bonus round for Sovereign, so they did dealt major damage, especially on the bonus rounds. You'd usually expect to see Airavata Esports have at least 3 or 4 players still being alive, but this is a good value coming in from Sovereign. Guardian from Generic once again still contesting towards C long, but this time he has his partner Buster to push in. Fault line will be used, the same utilities. Wall banging it through the boxes. Mighty immediately reads it out like a book. And Generic gets caught out once again. Paranoia, good use to deny the push. It's gonna happen towards C, but Sovereign, my god, the counters are just looking absolutely perfect.
Yeah, Sovereign's already making the instant rotation towards the B side, catching out all of the players before they even get into their proper retake positioning. Raja, he knows that there's a good chance one of the players could be towards the A side, but look at Yuda's positioning. He's still gonna get cleared out though. Raja in a good spot. This kill is very crucial. Triggered's able to find one. This could just be on the opposite end of something bad, but still, Triggered and Say, they're able to find so much more value. Mighty comes in from the side lane, doesn't get the kill, but does the distraction that is required for Say to find his pick. Now Raja, once again, stuck in a clutch situation. He does have the shot itself to get into a forward position instead of the smoke, but it's just not going to be enough. Go on the left. And nah, Raja's just already done for. Nice to survive, but even then, it's not going to help. 7-9, ladies and gentlemen, as Sovereign, they found their foothold once more. The setups that they're going in for, on paper, I love what they're doing, but I think that a couple of their plays is just a little bit too aim reliant, and the players are not as confident when taking shots.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think it's best to not contest for C long. Fort line, flashes, and then you have all 4 players just wall banging towards the spots where usually the players would be. Generic is definitely not having a good time, so he will make a swap. This time he'll be holding all towards the A side. He's gonna meet Utah. He's gonna meet Utah anytime soon. But he needs to get this shot on point. One single headshot will give them ample amount of value for Airavata Esports to survive the next mid round itself. No,
Nice.
no, Generic. Oh man, that has gotta hurt for him.
Man's not
That
having
has
a good
gotta
day.
hurt.
He is not having a good day at all today. Normally his chamber is on a different level, but today he's having a very rough time. Buddha though, in good spirits and in good positions, he's able to readjust. He's able to find Clandestine. Satchel's not gonna phase him.
Healing over here.
An 8-9 scoreline pretty much imminent here. The possibilities of a comeback looks to be quite bleak, and pretty sure that Buster and his teammate also knows
One
it.
enemy remaining.
Raja goes in for the swing, but immediately gets caught out. Buster pulls it back. Just done for. 8-9, ladies and gentlemen. Sovereign, they're inching their way back to a good utilization. And possibly the first time they could take a lead in this entire game.
Timeout is necessary though. A timeout is really necessary. They've got to reset. Generic has been picked out every single round in the second half, and this is not a good sign for Airavata Esports. Even Buster's getting picked out on second half. They were looking very promising in the first half while they were on attack. They were like the counters was good. Sovereign Esports were just playing it too passively in the first half. And then now we get to see the second half, Sovereign Esports taking control of the situation. Definitely puts Airavata in a state of danger. Lockdown is present, so Sovereign Esports could go in for a fully fledged push towards A, or maybe use it on post plant. But I believe this entire round would rely on the showstopper from Airavata's end. If the showstopper gets some valuable kills, like at least a 1 or 2 kills, maybe taking out the sentinel or the duelist, that would definitely give some good value out of it.
To a certain extent, yes, but at the same time, how do you want to use that software?
Yeah.
Go out a little bit too aggressively, there's a good chance you might get one tap out of the sky.
They
if
are
you
mine.
try to set yourself up towards the A side, they could be heading towards C, where your showstopper's not working that well.
Find you.
And it seems to be in a completely different direction, though. You know, the utilization of the Haunt to get A main information. It's Buster. Flash in hand, and he is ready to set up everything that he can for his race. Just as you stated previously, Baba, they're playing for the showstopper, clandestine. Hopefully, he does not get a little bit too impatient waiting outside of the seaside. Will be the more better option. Stun comes through, giving early information that hey, there's a good chance the execution's gonna be heading on towards the opposite side. Flashes are perfect, and they use it beautifully. They need to get this ultimate out as quickly as possible, but no. They lost out on the Razor. They now no longer have it. Going into a retake will just be, just be an omen and a chamber. They don't have the utility to make this happen. And on the opposite side, you still have a breach with one flash remaining, I do believe.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he has a singular flash, and that one flash could be the deal breaker for all of it.
Wait, he's still alive, even with all the wall bangs being sprayed. Yeah, this is a very difficult situation though. Smokes is still present. The man count still favoring for Sovereign. Generic goes in for a fake spike defuse. Raja and Generic both at the same place. Not, yeah, it's definitely Sovereign who's going to win this one out because looking at the situation, Airavata Esports are facing massive disasters, especially the C long part, right? The fault line, the flashes, and Say getting 2 kills back to back. This is looking dire for Airavata Esports.
He popped the showstopper while trying to peek out, and he got one tap.
Still has the showstopper though, so he should be fine.
Yeah, this is just a sad story indeed, but at the same time, Mighty's on the opposite side. He has his own showstopper slowly but surely coming online. 3 points away, 1 kill and 2 orbs, and he's done. CQ's being utilized a little bit too early, though, I would say, for the members of Sovereign. It'll be a thing that bites them in the back here later, but full execution in towards the side. Generic tries to survive, but he immediately gets picked out. Oh, Generic has just not been able to hold down a side or any of these situations. It's like he doesn't have a backup plan for a lot of the sidelines. And then there's Yuta. The man is not missing a damn thing. Look at the crosshair placement. Pristine and ready 24/7. Say, missing out on a couple of key important shots, but Buster's not able to hit his either. Flash comes through, trying to buy him a little bit of time. Buster. Equalization over under 1. He's looking for more here. Bullets running out. Raja needs to come in for the big save. Flash being used at the best possible time. Good kills could be the second, but no, Raja is not able to find it. Smoke is perfect. Going straight into the Killjoy Molly. It's a little bit of value over from the sidelines. They do get the kills, but the time is still not going to be in their favor. Sovereign, they get the 10th on the board, and double digits are now theirs. Airavata, they're left scratching their heads at this point. Because these site extensions, mind you, Baba, is the thing that's winning them these rounds. The fact that they're going as deep as they possibly can into enemy territory to stop them from utilizing their utility for a full-scale retake together as a team is what's giving them the edge.
Buster with 19, Say with 17 kills. And at this point, Yuta is having a field day at this point. The shots are supreme. He's watching the flank for the team. The Nano Swarm, just the timing of the Nano Swarm working perfectly on post plant. You can see a lot of pressure has been built up from Airavata Esports. Showstopper is present. I believe Fates' ultimate has been opened up. Nightmare will definitely help in providing a lot of information. Just a combo from Fates' grab and the Showstopper would definitely work. Needs to wait for the perfect timing. Unfortunately, Clandestine doesn't have a satchel charge. So yeah, he won't be able to shoot a Showstopper from midair. A lot of time being wasted around. Only a minute left. Sovereign Esports gonna use their lockdown as quick as possible. And once the timer hits at 2 seconds, they'll make their presence known towards the B side.
Rush coming in. Mighty. Man's not even given an inch of space away. Does get flashed out by his own teammate. A couple of mishaps when it came down to the smoke usage. But still, Buster and Raja coming in clutch from their own sidelines. They do have the flash to give them a little bit more leeway, and this retake is just absolutely phenomenal. All of the players coming into perfect unison for this play to happen. Mighty looking for another kill, but he's not going to be able to do much. Hit for one, but he's not going to be able to find the second. 10 to 10. Is Airavata utilizing all of the utility to perfection when it came down to this retake. No one was over peaking, and they utilized the early aggressive plays being made by Sovereign against them.
Yeah, once again, a timeout will be requested from Sovereign. A lot of utilities were expanded from Airavata Esports, most of them being used on post plant. The showstopper, unfortunately, won't being able to secure a kill, but it was being kept for more than 3 rounds, if I recall properly. The previous 3 rounds, I believe, both the Rays as well as Buster were trying to hold all the way from C long. That unfortunately did not happen because of the combo that they made from Sovereign. The fault line, the flashes from the sky definitely hindered a lot, and they were unsuccessful in popping out the showstopper, helping them in securing a kill or two. But looking at the situation, I'd say that Sovereign has the advantage because you have the showstopper being unlocked from the attacker's end, and plus the Rolling Thunder, which is even more devastating once they have control on the site, right? I mean, post plant, like you could use it on post plant, or you can use it at the execution of the site. So maybe some aggressive plays could be in play from Airavata Esports, and I believe they'll make their decision known by applying pressure towards A long.
That'd be a huge issue. Yuda already heard out at least 3 players over towards the B side, so that's an instant play towards the C side if I've ever seen one. But members of Sovereign, they are not risking a damn thing. Yuda also knows that there's a good chance the chamber trips are over towards mid, but he's not taking a chance to peek anything there. Sovereign playing disciplined, but they could be going into their waiting arms with Generic, who has an operator in his hands. Sun dodged out, and Generic comes in clutch, being able to catch out Triggered, who has been torn in his sides for the last couple of rounds. Raja positioning completely unknown, and he's going to be able to find the kill. Mighty none the wiser for this play. And with these 2 kills, Airavata, they have the significant man advantage. 5v2 going into a full reset. Say, he does get the plan, and it's all up to Yuta. Yuta needs to be a game changer for his team here. Say's completely on his own over towards the A side. He has to Shroud Step to maybe extend themselves up forward a little bit higher over towards the high ground. But even then, things are not looking that good. It's Yuta's game. If Yuta doesn't get at the bare minimum of 2 kills here, I don't know how they're going to be able to lose.
Oh no. There you go.
But first,
That gets one.
Say, it's your turn.
Last player
over.
standing.
Yuta still gets the second though. He's still getting on point with the kills, but the damage is done. Airavata will secure it. Put themselves back in the lead. Sovereign Esports, unfortunately, their timer didn't quite work out as expected it to be. I've got to admit, Generic the read of Generic was just really good. He knew that the fault line was coming in, so instead of hugging towards the wall, he was slightly in the middle of it. So once he knew that there was a fault line, he would just dodge it, peek back again, takes out Triggered, and then just easily come back. It was like a really well made. The recovery was just really good from Generic's end. Look at the pressure though. Mighty once again. Oh boy, he's trying to aggressively play, and Raja again catches Raze off the act. He might be able to get Triggered, in which he does. An important peaks as Sovereign Esports loses control on C execute.
I don't know why Sovereign is trying to rush so much when it comes out of their overall execution. Plus, Baba, where is this nade going? I wish I could rewind back and see exactly where the nade went coming in from Mighty, because Mighty didn't nade the far back corner, near the pillar where Raja was standing. Normally that is where you throw out the raised paint shells. But no, Mighty's not clearing out the close corner. He's completely getting caught off guard in a lot of these scenarios. But Yuta just walks in for free. But regardless, clandestine able to go in for the trade. 2 versus 4 on the map. Generic in the corners. Not going to be able to find the kill, but that's
30
completely
seconds
fine and
left.
dandy. No reset coming in from either side as Sovereign can't really make this execute happen, knowing that the spawn side is still a problem here for them. Whitebeard has the Rolling Thunder online, so if he does find one more kill, maybe there's a good chance he's going to be utilizing it. But I
10
love
seconds
the
left.
fact that Airavata are not going in for anything aggressive. With only 7 seconds left on the clock, they need to go in for the plant, and they need to be the ones who make the first move. Raja slowly walking up. He's going to be able to deny the plant. No! He whipped the shot, but that's completely fine. His clandestine is going to be able to finish him off instead. 10 to 12. Is Airavata? They're at the finish lines. Waiting to cross over, but Sovereign, I don't think they're going to give this one up without it.
Match point.
In their defense, I'd say that their main goal was to just plant the spike because it provides, I believe it provides every single player a free 300 creds, right? So it should
Yes,
be
it is.
more than enough to give them enough economy to get themselves some good utilities, followed up with heavy armors and vandals. And since this is their last final fight in the first half, they're not going to give it up just yet. So the Rolling Thunder will still be online. They still need to worry about Generic, but he's going up against Yuta. And as I recall properly, Yuta is on point with the Vandal shots. So a single shot at the head should be more than enough, and we might see it in a while or
I
two.
think Yuta saw it.
Yuta is just... Yeah, Yuta saw it. He's like, it's best to not contest an AWPer because if you miss it, it's all gone. Showstopper being used all the way towards C Long. Unfortunately, won't be able to catch anyone just yet. A lot of utilities being used, pressures being made from C Long, and at this point, Airavata Esports, they're putting Emerald to the middle all the way from C Long. Oh boy, Trigger was just caught in a very bad spot. The smoke wasn't really placed really well. And yeah, this is an unfortunate smoke that didn't quite work out for Sovereign.
Generic, he needs to hit the
No,
shot. He's not
Generic.
going to be able to find it, but he's able to live. Being able to live is the big important
No.
factor. Generic, he still went in for the swing up against Yuta.
Oh.
That is going to hurt. Now the attackers have an op in their arsenal. They don't want to use it though. Mighty instead opting for the judge, playing close range here. Not really the position that he wants to be in, especially with Buster still very much alive with that thrash. Time though is not their best friend. Airavata's positioning, I do not like what they're holding. Whitebeard in towards the back, catches out no mercy as he wanted to go in for a swing. Mighty, his opportunity to pull off something big here.
Oh, no.
Can go in for the jump. He does find the catch over under one more. And one by one, the members of Sovereign are able to find a peak each. 11 to 12, ladies and gentlemen. This is where the game is going to get even more.
Oh man, feels bad. Feels bad. Generic misses the first shot, goes back to safety, peeks back again, and Yuta is like, "Hello there." My God, Yuta is man. He is doing a lot of work. You know, giving ample amount of
Man's doing
info,
God's
denying flanks. It's just like he's just giving a lot of choices for Sovereign Esports. If things go south, they still have a backup plan, and that backup plan is an 80% chance of success.
True. We'll have to hope that Generic just has a better option, really. It seems as though we are going to be rolling on back the round as one of the players did have a disconnect. So, pretty much we're going to be at the exact same place, ladies and gentlemen. Don't really worry about that, but the round's just going to start all over.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. What happened?
I believe the rounds reset. Since all the players are ready, we'll be able to resume back the match without having any fuss. But yeah, like
No, the rollback took
huh.
us to a 5 to 8 score line.
Oh yeah, it's 5 to 8. I believe it resumed back to second half. But
11
yeah,
to 12.
not to worry, folks. We're not gonna waste a lot of time just yet. We'll be back as soon as
Match
possible
point.
with the second map. There you
There
go.
we go.
Match point is in for Airavata Esports, Sovereign Esports. They still have it. The previous round was just very close. A good count is being made from both the sides. Generics weakness is it's a lot, you know. Sovereign, they're having a field day at this point. For Sentinels, especially for Utah, he's not having any problems dealing with the chamber. But they definitely had to figure out a way on executing towards the side. That's where they were having a main problems with, especially with Raja, right? Every single time where they decide to push in towards the C side, they don't usually check the pillars, and because of that, they got picked out twice or three times in the round, uh, placing Airavata Esports on a match point. So they gotta make sure that they don't put themselves in the same situation again. Because if it does, then Airavata Esports will steal the round, and if it doesn't, then we might see overtime match point.
On that regard. Sovereign, though, they have the proper game plan and they have ideas that can really push them over that finish line, but the main problem that they're having is the timing of their utility. I don't really see the utility being used in synchronization with each other as often anymore as they did in the past. Because
Yeah.
earlier rounds, think about it, they utilized the util almost perfectly. The flash,
Yeah.
the stun came in proper unison, but after a couple of rounds, when you expect them to be even better in the utility usage, it's just not as present as you would have hoped for. Think about it. Sky used her seekers, right? Normally, what
Yeah.
do you do after the seekers come through? You use the paint shells. After that, you try to clear out a power position, and then maybe if the paint shells are not able to do the value that you would want, then you use a rolling thunder or a flash or a stun coming in from the beat, and you use those abilities to confirm a proper hit onto a player. But the seekers are just being thrown out willy nilly, and they're using the seekers for an entry, which is not really the case anymore, especially with Sky now being nerfed out so far. You don't have the flashes to give the proper support. Your Trailblazer is also not that strong anymore that you can use it to help your teammates get into a side properly. Remember, before the Trailblazer could still concuss a player even when it was destroyed. But none of that is really happening here coming in for the members of Sovereign. And hopefully, with this technical pause, both teams have an opportunity to reset themselves. For Airavata, it's going to be the finish line push. They need to stop Sovereign from getting themselves on towards this overtime point, because if Sovereign gets that chance for an overtime, this could just all be over. But before we are going to be able to decide that, we're going to need to head on down over into a short little break and see exactly what problems the players are facing, and hopefully we can fix it. But for now, we'll see you in just a little bit.
Want a curved screen, high refresh rate gaming, and don't want to compromise? Well, the ASRock Phantom Gaming 27-inch 240Hz curved monitor is here to deliver. In the box, we've got our power cable, HDMI and DisplayPort cables, and a rugged stand. And finally, the ASRock Phantom Gaming monitor with an impressive 27-inch curved 1500R VA display. This makes for quite the immersive experience, especially in competitive games like Valorant, which demand higher refresh rates. Diving into the specs, this monitor goes up to 1080p, sports a blazing fast 240Hz refresh rate for silky smooth gameplay, and HDR10 support for vibrant lifelike colors. It covers 90% of the DCI-P3 and 113% of the sRGB color spaces, making those visuals pop at a max brightness of 300 nits. This is great for picking out enemies in low visibility situations. It's got a rapid 1 millisecond response time with MPRT mode to keep motion blur in check for perfect aim, and dual 2-watt speakers built right in just in case you don't have your headphones on you. For connectivity, this monitor is equipped with 2 HDMI 2.0 ports, 1 DisplayPort 1.2, and a headphone jack. The stand is solid with swivel and tilt adjustments, but there is no height adjustment. However, it does support VESA mounting if you want to customize your setup. The monitor also sports ASRock's low blue light technology, so those long rank up sessions are a little easier on your eyes. Additionally, FreeSync Premium is also present on this monitor, preventing screen tearing at unstable frame rates. Overall, this monitor does exactly what it says on the box. Super fast, high refresh rate gaming for titles like Valorant to give you the competitive edge you need. Today we've got something special for AMD users. The ASRock B650 Live Mixer motherboard. Packed with features and support for AM5 processors, this motherboard is a statement both visually and specs-wise. As an AM5 board, the ASRock B650 Live Mixer supports both AMD Ryzen 8000 and 7000 series processors and will continue to support all AMD CPUs until 2026. Whether you're upgrading or building a new rig, this motherboard has you covered. Power delivery is robust with a 14+2+1 phase power design, ensuring stable and efficient power distribution. For memory, it sports 4 DDR5 DIMM slots with support for 6400+ MHz speeds when overclocked. Expandability is key in any build, and the B650 Live Mixer shines with 3 PCIe 4.0 x 16 slots and an M.2 key E slot for Wi-Fi modules. Rear I/O is great with an HDMI and DisplayPort connector, 14 USB ports, out of which you get one 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port and a 3.2 Gen 2x2 Type C port. Those with blazing fast internet will be happy to see a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port at the back. For audiophiles, it features 7.1 channel HD audio with the Realtek ALC897 audio codec and Nahimic audio enhancement. Whether gaming or watching movies, you can expect immersive audio quality. Storage solutions are top-notch with one blazing fast PCIe Gen 5x4 M.2 slot and 2 PCIe Gen 4x4 M.2 slots. Additionally, it also has 2 SATA 3 connectors for additional hard drives or SSDs. All in all, the ASRock B650 Live Mixer motherboard is loaded with features that make it a formidable foundation for any high-end PC. Whether you're a gamer, a content creator, or just looking for a powerful system, this motherboard checks all the boxes.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the AMD Presents Flipkart Back to College Cup Season 1, powered by ASRock, Acer, W Black, and Tronics. As we did leave off on 11 to 12 scoreline, as one of the players did have a power cut issue. He is now back in towards the server. Hopefully, Generic's not going to be the one to die early on this time around. His operator didn't really find a lot of value as a kill, but gained some early information with the C rush possibly coming in. Yuta also giving his own information away that he is holding from the B side. Slight dangers all around, but overall, the members of Sovereign, they're taking their time for this one. They wanted orb control, they're able to get it. One more good push out, and that's all that they are going to require. Whitebeard, ultimate on the ready. He's going to be able to catch out two players if he uses it right now, but he needs information first. Smoke. Go now. He's taking his time for this one. Not opting for the Rolling Thunder, possibly saving it for the side here, Baba.
At this point, they're just waiting for the right moment, and that right moment is now. And looks like Airavata Esports, they've got things under control. A huge, massive kills happening from A long. And would put
Defenders win.
the last player on the prowl, but yeah, that is the end of the first half, the end of the first map itself. It will be none other than Team Airavata Esports who are going to secure map number 1 Lotus. Map number 2 Breeze will be the map to see whether if Airavata Esports can end things off on a 2-0, or will we get to witness the opposition team make their, make their plays known. Although, yeah, the last round itself, it was. Yeah, it was really anticlimactic. They were just waiting for the right moment. They just placed one smoke, and next thing you know, all the rest of the players were just holding on from that one particular place. But yeah, nonetheless, we've didn't get to know what the end result is, but the match's not over yet.
Yeah, it's not over yet. That was just game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Map 1 was quite the extravaganza, I would say, coming in from both of these squads. They really pulled off their best. Best that you could have hoped for, but at the same time, the members of Sovereign, they were just so stiff on the utility usage right at the very end. It just felt like a completely different team from when their attack started to when their attack ended. I expected the Breach Ultimate to come in based upon a flash from the sky, or maybe a jump spot, or even a boom bot coming out from the rays, but there was none of that. Where did the second flash go? Because I remember that this guy used one flash to take C-Long control, and after they took C-Main control, they shifted their way back towards A. They had a flash in hand. They could have used it. If they used the flash and then popped out the Breach Ultimate, they could have just taken over A main. Right? Think about it, Baba. They had options. They had the utility, but they just refused to use it because they expected that, okay, we're going to need this Breach Ultimate for the side execution. No, you're not going to need the Breach Ultimate for the side execution. You have no information of what's happening on the A side. A main was completely given away for free. You had a player holding from B when he should be the one holding towards A, or if he's not holding towards A, why not just place a turret there? Even that's a bad idea. You need to have the player hold towards A. There's a reason why Generic spent most of the game just playing towards the A side from the attack, because he knows how important it is to establish early control towards A main, because if you don't have A main control, that basically A lobby control, sorry. My bad, callouts are a little bit off. Then even if you do a lot, even if you make a lot of noise towards C, it doesn't matter because now you don't have that option to go towards A, considering how much you need to invest, even clear out the lobby. And this is where they just fell through. They refused to use the utility. They expected it to be empty, and that gamble just did not.
Yep. Well, although I've got to admit, this the entire matchup on Lotus was really a good one. The counters that we saw from both the sides. Airavata Esports, they had a major problems, especially in the first half, not being able to secure post plans for around 5 to 6 rounds. And Sovereign, they really did a great job at countering while they were on attack too in the second half, forcing the chamber on a very tough spot. The KG was doing an exceptional job on getting those early picks, shutting down the sentinels and giving them the opportunity to head in towards the side. Although there were some major changes that happened almost at the end of the second half, right? Where Raja's trying to make those impactful plays by shutting down the Rays with the showstopper, and also the second time with the judge this time, also getting shut down from Raja because he was still on pillars. No one was, no one was trying to, try to use a utilities, maybe some small, maybe some flashes or some paint bombs to ensure that none of the players would be in that power position. That did not happen, and eventually we did get to see Airavata Esports, come back slowly by slowly, and next thing you know, we did get to see them secure the final round. For a moment, I thought that we could have seen Sovereign Esports, keep this match all the way up to overtime match point, but we did get to see that anticlimactic end where the rest of the players from the side of Team Sovereign just got absolutely destroyed from the A entry itself.
Yeah, the A entry was just a tough call to have, and I'm pretty sure that your production was confused that what the hell just happened towards A lobby, because of the observer just had no idea where to even go in that scenario. But in my opinion, Sovereign just probably couldn't recoup themselves and get their momentum back after the loss. And hopefully that's not going to be the case as we head on down over onto map number 2. Please, though, on the other side of the spectrum, is not really a momentum-based map. It's a map where lines of sight are very important. Map control being established early on is also a crucial part in the way that the map is normally played. And when these factors all come into cohesion, that's a completely different story, right, Baba?
Yeah,
Composition also matters quite a bit on that particular map too.
Yeah. Maps like Breeze, Icebox, these maps are usually long-range fights, right? It's a place where you get to use your Guardians, you get to use your Outlaws, Marshals, and many other types of weapons, which could definitely change the entire pace of economy. And the thing about Breeze, and also knowing that you have a huge nerf that had happened from Viper, this map Breeze, it's Viper's domain. And since there's a huge nerf from Viper, the changes from the team composition will be a lot more different, right? Maybe we could see a double controller composition. Maybe we could see I think a double controller setup would be the safest bet for me on the second map of Breeze, because Viper usually acts as both the controller as well as the sentinel, right? So usually you'd have Viper play on the A side, and then you have, Cypher play on C with all the traps and all that stuff. Next thing you know, it's a very hard side for the attackers to even, enter in. They couldn't even execute, mainly because of those traps and the amount of information they've gained from it. So with that huge changes from both the Viper and the Cypher, I'm really quite intrigued to see what kind of other agents could be in the meta for a map like this.
That is for certain. But for map number 1, let's try to wrap everything up with our scorecards now being shown. See exactly who has been leading the charge for the entire team for Sovereign and for Airavata. We already know who's been the game changer. Come on. Buster being at the very top. On a Phoenix, on a Gecko, even on his Rays. Buster just does not. The man's going to be able to frag out. He's consistent. He's backing up with the entire team, and he will rally his entire squad behind him. He has to go in for the wins. But for the side of Sovereign, what I really hope to see moving forward in the following roundups is Mighty being a little bit more proactive in this place. As for utility coming in from Trigger, as for the utility from Whitebeard as well, because both of the initiators just had a big disconnect with Mighty. Mighty uses his paint shells willy-nilly, and he doesn't think about where he wants to throw it to get the best form of advantage. Those seaside pushes is like the best example for all of it. On the defensive side, yeah, he was playing it simply. He was able to play the mind games. He was able to set his teammates up for a lot of the executions, but on the attack, it just felt so lost. Stuff like that should not happen. While on the other side of the spectrum, Airavata had a very rough start on their defensive side, but as soon as they were able to come together as a team, it was a completely different story. Their utility usage became a lot sharper. Their aim was shifting away from being much more of a solo carry potential thing over to much more trade oriented, and Buster was leading the charge for all of these things. 40% headshot percentage, mind you, Baba. And Buster, he was normally the second fragger. He was always the one ready to go in for the trades. And when you have a person whose trades are this forgot the word. This sharp.
Mesmerizing,
Yeah.
explosive,
Is this mesmerizing? Yeah, this was
breathtaking.
mesmerizing. Yeah, those are the words, the big words that Baba just spoke out of his mouth. When you have a player like Buster on your team, you just can guarantee the fact that even if you die, and I'm pretty sure that this is what Celestine was feeling, that even if he dies, he has Buster right behind it to guarantee the fact that there's a team. I need to see the same coming in from Sovereign. Otherwise, map number 2 on Breeze, mind you, which is a very trade-orientated map. You cannot solo carry on this map properly. If your trades are not on point, you will have the worst possible time trying to play it. Especially in this current meta where Viper is not that strong. Her wall will just go down suddenly when you're trying to make this entry over into the A side. Already, before pre-nerf Viper, mind you, you couldn't take these entries properly over into the A side because of how much time it takes to figure out all of the utility and set everything up. Now it's even harder.
Yep. And I think that as we take a look at the agent select right now, I'm pretty sure a double duelist composition could be a Reyna and a Jet. You know, a Reyna Jet could be very powerful, especially how, you know, Reyna could constantly pressure into
Okay,
its
Yoru,
mid, but
let's go.
never mind. Oh, okay, clandestine with the Yoru. All right. It's very rare to see Yoru being played, especially in South Asia, Aggie, because like you said, NA and EU, especially with the huge Vipers nerf, it's been very difficult for them to, you know, get, you know, comfortable with the metas, right? And for players in Asia, they're more an aggressive team who would prefer, you know, be right in their face, right? Flashes, you know, they would rather prefer more on flashes, executes more than smoke. But nonetheless, I mean, smokes are still important. I'm not going to say that smokes are not. But yeah, looking at the team composition itself, as I expected, you definitely would want to have Jet, because the main contestant in towards mid long, and also that tunnel which is recently opened on Breeze, it's going to be a huge fight up. And since Viper will still be pegged from both sides of Whitebeard and No Mercy, we get to see that huge nerf that could have a major effect on those smokes.
I really hope to see a second controller at the bare minimum here, but I don't like where this composition is going. The members of Sovereign, they are going in for the much more generic composition, if I would say. I love the fact that they are picking. Yeah, I like the fact that they have opted to go in for that KO. I like the KO pickup because the flashes are very powerful. You can go in for a bunch of lovely flashes too. But I don't know how it's gonna work, especially with the nerfed Viper coming into play. All of their executions need to be a lot more clear, and at the same time, they need to have clear communication lines in the way they want to do it. If there is a single miscom in any situation, they are going to be suffering drastically from it. If the Viper is not able to call out the perfect amount of time that the smoke is going to be going down on, so one of your players could just be caught out in the open and he has no way of executing.
Yep.
Communication is key right now. And we know that Mercy is like incredible when it comes down to his communication, but Whitebeard having a very rough game in map number 1, hopefully that does not affect his comms in map number 2. Because we have seen this in the past that players that do play bad in one particular map tend to go silent and not get the same level of energy in their comms in map.
Let's see. Tunnel's presence from Airavata Esports. The door hasn't been closed just yet. Smokes will be used and an instant confirmation on kills, in which none of them has been made just yet. A lot of fights been happening towards the tunnel's side, and it will be Clandestine who secures one.
He's out!
Utah tries to get the first,
Wait,
but no,
he
he
got
gets away safely. He just got out. He was like, yep, see ya. Gets away to the safe spot, and Sovereign, my god, they definitely did not expect to see that coming at this day. All the rest of the two players are very low on HP, but they've secured the plant. Now just have to remove the rest of the players, in which they will do successfully, winning the pistol round from the side of Airavata Esports.
Mercy, you cannot tell me that wall was a calculated wall. Please, if we had an instant replay, I could just showcase to you why that wall is possibly the only reason why they won this entire round. Sovereign, like what? Mercy, he placed the wall that cut through the middle of halls. not the middle of halls, on the opposite side of halls where the door was, right? As soon as
yeah.
the players got flashed, they jumped behind Mercy's wall.
Yeah, boy.
And they lived
It's
because of that and that alone. I cannot stress to you, Baba, how one wall just completely saved them the entire round.
Yep. Just one wall is more than enough to secure it. So Clandestine once again flash through the wall. They will secure 2 kills back to back. Sovereign Esports facing major problems on the map freeze. It all leads to Mighty. A 5v1, only pistols in hand. It's not going to be an easy one to secure it. They will try to go in for the knife, but unfortunately we won't be able to see that. 2-0, Airavata Esports back in the lead. And yeah, I have to admit, that wall, especially on the pistol round, this when you add a pinch of randomness, where you just randomly panic and sometimes it works, it's very rare to get that. Because when I play Valorant on a daily basis, and when I panically place an ability, it never usually works for me. It's like, oh, okay, you've misplaced an ability, you're gonna get punished for it. But it's not the same for Airavata Esports, though. It was like, yeah, I've placed a wall, it's working well for us. All right, hooray. A good pistol round win for us. It's a 2-0. Bonus round is still in our hands. Guardian is already been used, which means that Guardian will be definitely an important element for Airavata Esports to secure those important kills, and it's at the hand of Clandestine. So it's all up to him to see whether if he can get an opening pick or not.
Oh, I don't like this. They're running straight into the side to side.
Got you.
Fires still seems to be a little bit of an issue here. They're gonna be able to get the break. But Utah, his position is still not known. Cameras over towards the top side. They do get the break, but look at the positioning. They have gotten forward quite deep. The Euros on the opposite side already. He's on the opposite end of the half wall. Clandestine. Opportunity to be even more. Utah wanted to go in for the kill, but he's not going to be able to find it. Clandestine, that's all up to him. If he finds one kill here and the timing does favor him, it's going to be perfect. Post plants are good, but the weapons are not that favorable. We need to make this one happen quick. Mighty. Going in for the push. Clandestine, beautiful for the shot. He's going to be able to find way more. Buster coming in for the third, and one by one, they're able to mow them down. Mind you, Baba, this was
a bonus round.
This was a bonus round coming out from them. They had the weakest weapons possible for this take to work. They had a stinger, for God's sake. And they still were able to find all of the kills and make this a flawless. Breeze is their playground.
Yep. And all they had to do, Aggie, was just secure the spike and wait for Sovereign Esports to make their play, because they're the one who needs to push in towards the side, right? Not a lot of utilities left. Most of the utilities were placed in towards the A side. Wall was present too. CJ just reverted it back, applied the spike in towards the B side, and waited for the defenders to make their play. This is a bonus round, which means Sovereign Esports are forced on an eco round, which is more painful to secure important lines of sight gunfights. But turns out you don't have to worry about it. Utah, once again, with the Sheriff, secures an important frag. Now, can he get the second? Nope. You have Raja all the way from the backside and Janek to get the third. In which this thrifty round, it's not going to be possible for Sovereign Esports.
They gotta break down properly here. This guarantees them the fourth round. Almost instantly. Buster once more with another kill, and Generic has the angle. He spots out one, but Whitebeard making sure to punish Generic still. Not having the best of games, but he's giving his team the space at the bare minimum. Even if your aim does not work, it's very important that your team is always on the same boat. And Buster, the adjustment done beautifully. 0-4 as Airavata. They're showcasing their dominance in the map of Breeze. They're doing it with perfection.
Sova plays a major role on a map like Breeze. Not only you have tons of lineups, especially in towards mid, where you can use a recon dart to just give right type of information once they make an execute, or you can use the shock darts to cancel out Cypher's trap placements. it's how valuable Sova is on this map that gives them a major leverage into it. Pop flash from the KO, not going to be successful. No Mercy immediately catches Mighty off the act. Here comes the Euro's ultimate. The flashes is present. Not the same for Generic though. The dash didn't quite work out exactly as it used to be. Whitebeard catches the player of the act. So is No Mercy for the quick trade. It's a 4-0. It's a 2v4. Airavata Esports has things under control. And Sovereign Esports once again. History is just it's basically like a rewind option on a VHS tape.
One enemy remains.
Yeah, they are impossible to try and defeat. Not even a single bullet missed out. They kept the perfect execution too. They're utilizing the Euro to its fullest potential too. At the same time, think about it. What is the normal primary problem that you have with this current Viper? You're not really able to scale up with the wall as quickly. Euro kind of completely nullifies that issue. When you have a Euro on your team, you can use the teleport to immediately carry the space that the Viper demands with the wall that's coming up. And as soon as the Euro's already inside of the site, that means as a Jet, you don't have to worry about the power, worry about a lot of the corners that you could normally die from. Jet acting as the second entry now can utilize the Euro flashes later on down the line and make sure that he gets traded out if he overcommits to anything. Airavata, they're playing a beautiful game of Valorant here for the map of Breeze, and this is one thing that we haven't really seen from a lot of other even tier 1 teams in recent days. Because having a good Euro player is a rare sight to see on the highest levels of.
The synergy is on point though for both the Yoru and the Jet. Like the flashes are on point, the teleport at the right time, information's been given, so is the Jet just dashing in towards the side and securing those important frags. When they start getting those opening picks, it is more than enough for Airavata Esports to not only secure a post plant, but also remove 2 players off in the process. And hopefully, with the timeout being used from Sovereign Esports, they might be able to get something good out of it though. Suppression, not being able to suppress any utilities. Raja, there goes Yuta. Information will be given immediately, but triggered. Whitebeard, Mighty, all 3 of them with the Sheriff find its important mark. Immediately removing out players. Use of that Sheriff. Those shots are pristine, and I know with the Esports, they'll be facing the major deficit just because of one single use of Neuro Theft. They just immediately just flushed out the rest of the players here.
Yeah, this was a good round coming in from the members of Sovereign, and one pause really gave them the direction that they required to rally the squad and finally figure out what Airavata was doing the last couple of rounds, which purely was being able to isolate these 1v1 duels. Raja now being spotted, no real utility in his hands, needs to make a run for it over towards the other side. But I like the discipline coming in from the members of Sovereign. They're not risking anything here. Say needs to upgrade his weapon here, hoping that Raja's going to give him a Vandal as a gift. But
30 seconds left.
Raja, he's not taking the bait. He's going to opt for a full-on save, maybe deal a bit more economic damage, but then again, going for a save here, not really the most necessary of things. But, Baba, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the following round because this is a guaranteed win for Sovereign, right? But
10 seconds left.
this next round will be even more crucial because the Viper Spit is now online, and that's a big ultimate that you can use to control a site. And I'm interested to see how the Viper is going to be utilizing this to try and stop Airavata's pushes.
Now we start waiting much. So Sovereign finally opening up their account on defense. A very good thrifty round too. So you could see the amount of overconfidence that you saw from Team Airavata Esports. Once they got the initial pick from Raja, immediately uses the ability to give away the rest of the players' information. They immediately thought, you know what, we have the rest of the information, let's just go ahead and get those kills. Immediately gets one tap from 3 of the other players from Sovereign. And next thing you know, they've got that round under control. It's just, they've got to worry about certain situations like this. Informations once again, it's 5-1. Just like you said, Aggie, it all heavily revolves around the Viper's pit. So do or die situation for Sovereign Esports to put themselves back up on track. Busters will deal some minor damage towards the shock. Not a lot. Still alive. They still haven't planted the spike yet because it's still at the hands of Sova. They're just waiting for the smoke to commence, and once it's done, Buster can easily go back to the side, proceed for post plant, and see whether Airavata Esports can handle things out.
Shell from the opposite end of the Sovereign. A good spot of his own as we go over on the back end. Hold up. He needs to find the kill, but no! Yuta! Couple of key important kills completely getting missed out. Raja is also in a tough spot. He's not going to be able to survive as Mighty comes in with a run and gun to completely take him out and take away his confidence too in the process. 2-5. It's a very scrappy round comes in from either end of this. Sovereign gets the kills and also a team ace. But honestly, I don't think they should be celebrating this round win, considering how sloppy it was. It needs to be a lot more cleaner moving on down the line.
Looks like Sovereign are bringing it back. It's looking really good though for them.
Oh, this is a nice spot. That goes there. Yes. This should do. This goes.
Although Yuta had some major mishaps, especially on the post plant, he eventually did recover some of the rounds back then. And info from the drones, Cypher the only sentinel holding from the B side. It's the same as usual as you'd expect in any B's matchup, so. Using the clone of the Yoru to ensure that most of the traps will be met. So,
Spike planted.
Yuta can't do anything much more about it though. Every single utility has been cleaned up. Whiteboard might be able to get one of the players, but no! Instant mishap. Raja gets it. That's an initial pick. There goes a controller, and now they just need to focus on the rest of the players who are trying to secure this post plant.
Mighty miss!
Enemy remaining.
Woohoo!
You died
Good shots from Clandestine.
Portal closed.
Man, slipping and sliding on ice at this point. Members of Sovereign are having a hard time trying to pinpoint this man down. 2-6 is Airavata back in the driver's seat once more. Slowly but surely, they are getting a good idea of what the members of Sovereign are really capable of. But even then, they should not get complacent in where they are holding. It's important, Baba, that Sovereign, they understand what they're doing wrong. And that's primarily giving a lot of space away to Airavata to do whatever the hell they want when it comes down to direct. Because a Euro needs a little bit of setup to get into the site. And if you stop them from going in for those set plays, you should have a significant advantage. Yuta, he's doing God's work in a lot of these scenarios, but it's just not enough.
Denials will be met. It's gonna at least waste a little bit of time, but
Oh, he's able to dodge both.
I
Spike
think.
planted.
Oh yeah. Once again, post plant for Airavata Esports.
Last
They
player
are looking
standing.
really well at this point, with Raja getting 2 kills back to back through the walls. Of course, you won't get the third. It will be Clandestine who gets the final kill. 7-2 as Airavata Esports are looking confident on a map like Greece.
A little bit too confident when you think about it. Raja as well, he is actually the king of this map seemingly. Cypher lurking around, finding those sneaky flanks and the perfect timings to just catch his opponents off guard. No one's even watching him. And when situations like this happen, it really hurts the team morale too at the end of the day.
Jump them.
Looks to be another A execute coming in from the members of Airavata. A very fast A execute, mind you. And none of the members of Sovereign are even going to try to fight
My
this.
ult's ready. I'll handle this.
Looks like no one's home on the A side. Oh boy, it's gonna be a tough situation for Airavata Esports. Never mind, it's Sovereign who gets an important pick. Mighty with the Sheriff kills. And Destin might be able to get it. Yep, there you go. Drag will be made. And so is the rest of the players getting kills one by one from Buster and Raja. All up to say, lone Sova gets picked out. 8-2. Airavata Esports in the lead and also
One of my cameras is
very
broken.
close to securing the second map on Greece.
It's fine.
Beautiful round indeed. These rushes are just so well done. The way that the players are able to take control of every portion of the map this quickly is what's the biggest surprise in my opinion. Think about it, right? I haven't seen a single situation, Baba, where Airavata is being caught off guard. They understand what their opponents are doing in every scenario, but for the members of Sovereign, they have no idea of where Airavata are going to be heading in any of these fights. I don't see early utility being utilized to gain information. That is really happening. Generic on track over on the opposite side. He's getting the frags here too. Triggered. Taking a back seat. No real dash to help a Generic in this scenario. He tried to push in a little bit too fast. And he's going to be the ultimate prize for it with his own life. Mighty. Goes back into Orange. Say comes in for the push, but he makes a little bit too much noise. And Mercy's going to be the one to go in for the catch here instead. Wall up. And that's a beautiful wall to have. Information already cut off. As Buster makes his way inside of the site. No real tripwires over towards the front lane. As Caldestine has the information over on the one. He does get a free plant. Do you believe that his ultimate is going to online right after one kill? Oh no, wait. He just already utilized his ultimate. My bad. But Raja.
One enemy remaining.
The man's already on the flank. He's going to be the one to go in for the max stab. Finds the kill. And gets the 9 on the board for his team. 2-9, ladies and gentlemen. This was another buy round coming in from the defenders. They will have nothing going into the last round of this.
Yeah. Higher possibility that it could go on a 10-2 scoreline, but after what I recall from Sovereign Esports getting 3 kills from the Sheriff shot, I think there still could be a chance for them to come back. I wouldn't say come back, at least end the first half on a 9-3 score count. It very heavily relies on this round though. Aggressive playstyle, once again a flash combo from the KO, but definitely it's not going to work out. Here comes the Hunter's Fury to try to catch up on the players, and it does. Taking out Mighty, Clandestine does the same by taking out Triggered. And next thing you know, Sovereign Esports, they are... The momentum just gone immediately once Airavata Esports made their presence known. It's just the rest of it is just clean up. 3-2. Airavata Esports, they are running the freight train right now. Clandestine and No Mercy gets the final kill, ending the first half on 10-2 scoreline. And at this point, Airavata Esports, they are in it to win.
It's insane how quick that they're finding a lot of these rounds. They're just rushing into the site and out-aiming the members of Sovereign. Sovereign just don't have an answer to any of these rushes. I would expect it maybe a KO knife to come out early to stop them from utilizing their utility, but even that's not helping out in any way, shape, or form. No real flashes are being used by Triggered either. Triggered needs to be a little bit more creative in the way that he utilizes his flashes to stop these pushes from happening. Maybe try to change up the Viper setups as well instead of using the wall in the much more of the default fashion. Use maybe a smoke in the front corner that you can use to pop flash yourself out of.
This is a nice spot.
There's options that you can go for, but you need to be creative at this point if none of the old default plays and setups are working for you. There needs to be a change, and if I don't see that change, the possibilities of them even winning this is not gonna be that helpful. And Buster, just look at him, Baba. He's playing his own little bit of a game out here. 2 free taps and he's already gonna be able to find the kills. Elbow control is there. And Sovereign, they're just scrambling to try and survive. You can see the smile on Caldestine's face. He just already knows that they're lost and they don't have an answer to any of the things that they're doing. Flawless round comes in from Airavata on the pistol round, mind you. It seems to be all but over. Sovereign, the young guns of the teams, just completely are falling apart.
Yeah, they definitely did not expect what to do on a map like Breeze, right?
One enemy remaining.
Understanding the entire, changes in the meta. Knowing that a single Yoru can create an entire mishap of their entire strat definitely hurts a lot. I mean, you'd have no other ideas on how to counter them. Great shot though from Clandestines. Two back-to-back from the Outlaws. And at this point, it's just Airavata Esports just aiming to get more kills. Raja is here, so is the second. Not working
enemy remaining.
as expected it to be. Here comes Generic with the final kill on the Ghost. Sovereign Esports looks like they've lost hope here, Aggie. But I still gotta I still have to commend them on their first map on Lotus. They've made such a great performance on a map like Lotus. They've read it like a book. They did know how to counter. The post plant was excellent. But I believe on map number 2, things just went not that great for Sovereign though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think after the loss that they faced in map number 1, the team's morale just took a dip down into the ditch. I haven't really seen them being in close contention with each other as much as you would have hoped for. Raja, significant miss, but he's still gonna be able to find the hit regardless. Marshall still doing work as a clandestine trying to be the big boy here. He's not gonna be able to find much, but Raja's always gonna be present to be the anchor for the team, an anchor for the B side. He's not gonna give anything away. Last player remaining will be Whitebeard. Position's already known, and Raja with the Outlaw just goes in for the instantaneous hit. A 2-13 finish after a 11-13 win. Airavata, what is this team? It seems as though their momentum just goes in for an upwards trend as soon as they win a map. And if this is how strong the squad is going to be moving forward, even Dub G should be scared of what this team is capable of.
I mean, I don't think it has to do with, you know, the synergy wise. I do have to say that the synergy was working well for the side of Team Sovereign. It's just that the agents that they've picked and the time that they tried to combo it didn't quite go well in their end, you know. Especially with their aggressive A push with the combo of KO's flash and then the dash attempt from the Jet, in which it didn't quite work out. I mean, at the end, it just ended up with just usual aim guns, in which we did get to see Team Airavata secure it without having any major problems for them to deal with in the first place. And the lurks from Raja was just on point. They had having major issues on trying to control the lurker who's been getting kills time and time and again, cutting off rotations all the way towards mid, which means that they were forced to go all the way back to defender's side spawn and then in towards A, wasting a lot of time in the process. And that's the main reason why mid control is very important and crucial when it comes to time on post-plant situations. You don't have control on mid, the chances of rotating will be much more higher. So thinking about that in perspective, Airavata Esports, at this point they were just having a field day, man. I mean, the way how the peaks that they've made, the combo pushes, at this point it just broke Sovereign's morale quite a lot. And if Sovereign is looking at the stream right now, I just gotta admit, you guys have done a great job on map number 1. I'll give you guys that, right? Lotus was a very close map, and the synergy that you guys did on trying to remove out one of the important players is really great. That synergy is what makes a great Valorant player. You know, you have to play as a team. Solo plays usually doesn't work out quite a lot, but playing as a team, that's exactly where this team shines a lot. But hopefully we'll see Sovereign have their one final attempt in the lower bracket section. But for Airavata Esports, a job well done for them. Let's take a look at the scoreboard and let's see who the MVP is.
I'm not even surprised that Airavata is going to be able to take this one away, but good God, Raja. This Cypher was just so sneaky. The man he's doing 18-3. He has a 6 KD ratio. What is wrong with him? The man was in the back 24/7. He was just shooting heads on the flank more than he was taking raw gunfight early on. Clandestine as well on the other side of the other side. He has 17 and 4. Both of these players were just having a field day in this entire game. And then Buster, yeah, he's doing 6 and 13, but you have to say that he was a constant driving force for a lot of these rounds. the way that he utilized his utility, the fact that he was always ready with his recon bolt, with his drones to set up Raja for a lot of these flanks. And when he used his recon bolt, he made sure to communicate it to Raja so that he could go in and take an early swing, because players, as soon as they see the recon bolt, at least 2 people are going to try to shoot it, right? That's when Raja came in for that immediate peak to use that as an advantage for himself. Him being the MVP of this map is not really that big of a surprise. The guy was phenomenal. He played Cypher to perfection, and I do think that he will be the series MVP later on. If he is one.
So take a look at the MVP of the series. It is none other than Raja. The Lurker Sentinel with a total of 39 kills. 6 first kills from his end. Although on the first map, I believe it wasn't Raja who was doing the Sentinel work. I believe he was a controller with Yeoman. Yeoman plays was just on point though, especially on the A side. Yeah, 2 KDR, 2.17 and a 289 ACS. At this point, Airavata Esports, it's a force to be reckoned with. But on the bright side, you do get to say that Sovereign Esports had a really great experience going up against the best of the best, who had a good experience going up against professional players.
Yep. It's just the experience that all the members of Airavata had that gave them the edge here on the map. Taking Greece is not something that you take lightly. You need to have a proper game plan in mind. You need to have proper set plays and executions that you utilize on this particular map to even set foot on. A lot of teams, there's a reason why they ban out Breeze. Even if they're good on Breeze, they don't really want to take that risk because of how demanding this map can get. And unless your team synergy, your raw performances as an individual are on point, and your your sentinels, shouldn't say lurkers, your sentinels have a deep understanding of the map and also the timings that they should go for, it's very dangerous to pick this map up, and Sovereign probably just shot themselves on the foot here. Picking up this map up against a squad that has a lot of experience playing Valorant, not just as individuals, but as a team in general. That experience just helped them take this entire map under the rope. The scoreline on Breeze is not something common. It happens very rarely.
Yeah, once again, with the huge changes that had happened with some of the agents, it's really difficult to try to understand the meta at this point. But hopefully Breeze will have a lot of major changes once we keep playing the game, experimenting on certain agents, and hopefully we might see some different agent selects. But looking at this matchup though, entirely Sovereign Esports, they did try to make a bit of a comeback, but there wasn't a lot of aggressive playstyles as we see on Breeze. Most of the time Sovereign is more of like a passive team, right? They always play it in a safe manner. They don't like to take risks. They don't want to be aggressive on the side of defense, get a kill and come back to safety while wasting a lot of time in the process. No, they always play it safe. Sovereign, they're really good at holding their sides, securing in a lot of post-run situations, and they really did a great job coming into it. But yeah, I believe right now that should be the end of second match for now, folks. Team Airavata Esports securing 2 maps up against Team Sovereign, which means that in tomorrow we'll be having our 2 lower brackets matchups. I believe it will be between Team Ace and Team Ace versus Team Sovereign, and the second match has to be up against Resonance had won map number 1, so I believe it will be Resonance versus Airavata on the upper bracket matchup, and the lower bracket has to be Ace versus Sovereign. So for that to happen, folks, you just have to wait for tomorrow. This we're going to be signing off for today. And once again, folks, make sure to check out the sales that is happening on Flipkart. Link is in the description down below, and also on the pinned comments. We'll be taking our leave for now. This is me, Augusta, alongside my co-caster Aggressive, and also our broadcaster Headmaster 15. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, good night.
Want a curved screen, high refresh rate gaming, and don't want to compromise? Well, the ASRock Phantom Gaming 27-inch 240Hz curved monitor is here to deliver. In the box, we've got our power cable, HDMI and DisplayPort cables, and a rugged stand. And finally, the ASRock Phantom Gaming monitor with an impressive 27-inch curved 1500R VA display. This makes for quite the immersive experience, especially in competitive games like Valorant, which demand higher refresh rates. Diving into the specs, this monitor goes up to 1080p, sports a blazing fast 240Hz refresh rate for silky smooth gameplay, and HDR10 support for vibrant lifelike colors. It covers 90% of the DCI-P3 and 113% of the sRGB color spaces, making those visuals pop at a max brightness of 300 nits. This is great for picking out enemies in low visibility situations. It's got a rapid 1 millisecond response time with MPRT mode to keep motion blur in check for perfect aim, and dual 2-watt speakers built right in just in case you don't have your headphones on you. For connectivity, this monitor is equipped with 2 HDMI 2.0 ports, 1 DisplayPort 1.2, and a headphone jack. The stand is solid with swivel and tilt adjustments, but there is no height adjustment. However, it does support VESA mounting if you want to customize your setup. The monitor also sports ASRock's low blue light technology, so those long rank up sessions are a little easier on your eyes. Additionally, FreeSync Premium is also present on this monitor, preventing screen tearing at unstable frame rates. Overall, this monitor does exactly what it says on the box. Super fast, high refresh rate gaming for titles like Valorant to give you the competitive edge you need. Today we've got something special for AMD users. The ASRock B650 Live Mixer motherboard. Packed with features and support for AM5 processors, this motherboard is a statement both visually and specs-wise. As an AM5 board, the ASRock B650 Live Mixer supports both AMD Ryzen 8000 and 7000 series processors and will continue to support all AMD CPUs until 2026. Whether you're upgrading or building a new rig, this motherboard has you covered. Power delivery is robust with a 14+2+1 phase power design, ensuring stable and efficient power distribution. For memory, it sports 4 DDR5 DIMM slots with support for 6400+ MHz speeds when overclocked. Expandability is key in any build, and the B650 Live Mixer shines with 3 PCIe 4.0x16 slots and an M.2 key E slot for Wi-Fi modules. Rear I/O is great with an HDMI and DisplayPort connector, 14 USB ports, out of which you get one 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port and a 3.2 Gen 2x2 Type C port. Those with blazing fast internet will be happy to see a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port at the back. For audio files, it features 7.1 channel HD audio with the Realtek ALC897 audio codec and Nahimic audio enhancement. Whether gaming or watching movies, you can expect immersive audio quality. Storage solutions are top-notch with one blazing fast PCIe Gen 5x4 M.2 slot and 2 PCIe Gen 4x4 M.2 slots. Additionally, it also has 2 SATA 3 connectors for additional hard drives or SSDs. All in all, the ASRock B650 Live Mixer motherboard is loaded with features that make it a formidable foundation for any high-end PC. Whether you're a gamer, a content creator, or just looking for a powerful system, this motherboard checks all the boxes.